What's up, folks? Second Lieutenant Fanbro here, coming to you with yet another video. I hear people say that, yet another video. No, but I know I haven't come on here in some time. I've been pretty busy. So today is Sunday, August 30th, I believe. I just recently graduated from Logistics BOLC at Fort Lee. So that was interesting. That was fun. Just graduated from Logistics BOLC at Fort Lee, August 27th, this past Friday. My birthday was August 26th, a Virgo nation. Yep, so yeah. All right, so for those who are going on their journey to become a commissioned officer, you're going from basic to OCS to BOLC, or if you are in service and you are just going to OCS and then to BOLC, you have the experience. I think that's awesome. I do understand what they mean when they say, when people say they want to go. Now I wouldn't do this, it's not my preference, but I do understand when people say I want to go enlisted first to see what it's like. Because what I've realized, and as it should be, those individuals who are in service, like prior service and in service, they are definitely like gold. They are definitely those people you want to interact with. You want to pick their brains. You want to get all the information from them that you can possibly get, all the help, assistance, because your peers at BOLC, I mean, that's what they're there for. That's what we're there for, to make connections. Networking is very important. You want to make connections. You want to get information from your peers about, you want them to be able to educate you if they can. Because a lot of these individuals who are in service attending BOLC, they've done the job. They've had some experience doing it. They're familiar with what's to be expected. And they're just a wealth of knowledge. They're just resources that you should definitely utilize. Okay, so where do I begin? 16 weeks at Fort Lee. So the first couple of weeks we were online. We had class online because this was at like when COVID was still like at its height, and I guess it's still spiking now, but at the time we were 2 weeks online because everybody was quarantining from home. In addition to that, we were also in the process of, they gave us time to look for housing, and everybody was just getting settled. So we were learning, but also getting settled. People were looking for apartments and stuff, because I actually PCS there. So my class, we PCS to Fort Lee, but the majority of my class were TDY. So they stayed on post. But if you can, I would suggest staying off post because it's just better. I mean, come on. So yeah. And while I'm talking about housing, so because it was kind of hard actually. So I'm gonna just throw some names out there for people going to BOLC at Fort Lee in Petersburg. I stayed in Chesterfield. So where I stayed at Colony Village, great apartment complex. Colony Village, the Jane at Moores Lake is actually like a mile or two up the road from Colony Village. That was actually where I was gonna be, but Colony Village had an apartment available, I think 10 days sooner, and I didn't want to keep paying a hotel fee. So I canceled the lease that I had with the Jane at Moores Lake, and I just moved into a unit at Colony Village. So those two are really good apartment complexes. The Jane at Moores Lake is newer. Colony Village is pretty new. Very nice apartments, and there you go. So two places that I would suggest looking into is right down the street from several like grocery stores. You got a movie theater, you have Food Lion, Target, Kroger, Walmart is around the corner. Just, things that are important to be next to. It's like a tire shop down the street. It's definitely a lot of places you can go get your car service. Like things like that matter to me because I cook a lot. That's another reason I was so happy I was able to stay out post, being able to cook. But yeah, you got everything you need in the area. They have a few eateries. I frequented Tropical Smoothie Cafe quite a bit because I like smoothies. That was just like my treat. But yeah, 2 good places to live. So moving on. The first 2 weeks, log pack online. You know, I wouldn't suggest. I don't know if they're still doing that. I don't think they are. But learning online, remotely at home, like in quarantine, was not it. It wasn't it, boo-boo. Your attention is diverted. It's like too much. So much information. And it wasn't like, so you could ask questions on the online platform, but asking a question, like raising your hand online and raising your hand in class, it's 2 different things because it was just like when you're online, you kind of want the instructor to be able to continuously flow with their lesson. You want them to be able to teach, and it's already difficult enough. So I felt like asking questions, I didn't really get much from it because I'm someone, I need to be in person. Like, I got my master's degree online, but it wasn't necessarily my preference. Like, I'm someone who would prefer to be in class, and that's just what I like. But anyway, so LogPack was the first 2 weeks, a ton of information. So much information. So I say that, but make sure you do ask questions if need be. Of course. So ask questions, ask everything you need. This is where you learn about the different symbols and the composition of different units and stuff like that. It's just so much information. I wish I wrote down, printed out the schedule of things that we had. So we did log pack, we learned about ammo, we learned about everything you can think of in terms of logistics. A lot of it was, so I'm ordnance, a lot of it was focused in the realm of ordnance and transportation. Although quartermaster is in there, a lot of my peers were saying that they wish they would have had more opportunity to focus more on what a quartermaster is and what a quartermaster officer does. So that's one of those things, it's kind of like you got to pick and choose and do your own research. Like, although we're learning things at BOLC, ultimately as an officer you have to do your research and teach yourself, learn what you need to learn. And training, my experience has been, what I've noticed is like these schools and these schoolhouses and training are not necessarily all inclusive. It's like, it's a curriculum. It kind of feels like a check in the block. And what I've been hearing since I've been in the military, well, a whole, just shy of a year, so it's been 11 months, is this is what you learn, but you'll actually learn what you need to know when you get to your first unit, which is cool, but I would much rather, that's not comforting. Someone who's just, the only experience that they have is schoolhouse and OCS, BOLC, and basic, to tell me that I'm going to learn everything I need to know when I get to my unit gives me a bit of apprehension. I don't know. It feels so confusing, I guess. It's like you don't know what to expect. It gets a little bit better in terms of getting comfortable with the way the military is, I guess, but it's still different from going to your first unit. Like, I know nothing about being at a unit. I don't know my position yet. So I'm just kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen. So we also did, I kind of don't want to give everything away. I know some people like to leave, want to be surprised when they get there. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't want to be told everything, but I do like to be forewarned and given some sort of direction about what to expect when I get to a place. But it's just going to be a lot of a lot of briefing. So if you were someone who was not comfortable briefing at OCS, you need to get comfortable doing it. Okay, go find you a mirror, go find you an animal, a domesticated animal, your pet. I mean, practice with your pet, practice with a sibling or someone who has, you know, a decent attention span, you know, a parent, boyfriend, girlfriend, whomever it is. Just practice, because you're going to be an officer, so you're going to have to be able to feel comfortable in front of, you know, your soldiers and as well as your superiors. You're going to have to be, it's just confidence in general is something you should exude, I feel like. Granted, everyone's not the same and some people are shy. You just have to be comfortable. You know, it's just one of those things that's important in life, not necessarily just as an officer. You should be confident in who you are. You should feel comfortable speaking in front of people, whatever. So yeah, whatever it is, you should feel comfortable doing it because it's important to your growth. But got off track there. Bunch of stuff has been happening though, but yeah, so get comfortable with briefing, get comfortable with creating the brief, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, get comfortable with confusion, okay, because that's one thing I'm gonna say. You're never really gonna know if you're doing something right until you do it, and then you're being told what needs to be corrected, or you're being told, like, it's research based. Like, it's not gonna always be what you think it is. So just embrace it. It's training. That's all I can say. Embrace it all. The field now. The field was not bad at Fort Lee. The field wasn't bad at BOLC. We got tents, so thank you, G. So that was a plus. We got tents. We got the opportunity to be involved in convoys. That's kind of like the last few weeks. So the convoy is the last thing you do. FTX is the last thing you do at BOLC, logistics BOLC. You go through the whole ordeal, and it's not bad. It's gonna be hot. You know, bring you some bug spray. Make sure you stay hydrated. Although MREs are pretty gross once you keep eating them every day, but if you need to eat, you need to eat. So make sure you're eating when you're out there. Luckily, they brought some oranges out there. So for like 3 or 4 days, I ate oranges and drank water, and it was perfect. So I actually choose to follow a vegan diet in my personal life. So, you know, make it do what it do. So you're not going to always have access to, you know, vegan options. So there are vegetarian options. So, you know, get you a vegetarian MRE, get your elbow noodles and tomato sauce and your vegetable crumble, you know, your little nasty mushroom and whatever that is, the mushroom, what is it? Egg noodle, disgusting. But it's available. And I think the last one is, whatever the last is, I think it's like 4 vegetarian MREs. Partake. If you don't want the meal, eat the snacks, but make it work, because that's what you gotta do. That's part of it. It's part of being in the military. It's part of being in the Army. So that's that. I don't have a lot of, it's not really like a lot of advice I can give about BOLC, because it's one of those things you have to experience. You have to come in with a positive attitude. It's definitely better because it's a smaller setting. It's 50 of us, 51 of us at the end. I made some great connections. I had a great class, actually. Bunch of unique people. We had 2 international students. They were awesome. And the type of person I am, I was able to connect with everyone. You may start off not fancying people, but, you know, by the end, I was cool with everyone. You can always learn something from someone. When you sit down and actually have a conversation with people, you know, people make assumptions about other. We all make assumptions about each other when we first see someone or meet someone. First impressions are important, but as time goes on, you get to see a different side of folks. So we all work together pretty well, and it was a good mix. I enjoyed it. Yeah, there's really nothing like profound about my experience that I can share. If you made it through OCS, then BOLC is definitely doable. The test, if you take notes, good notes, and pay attention, you'll be fine. I think you get the opportunity, like most of the tests are, a good portion of the test you have to make at least like a 75. So make the 75 or above. Okay. Of course, do your best. Make an A on all of your tests because it's important to do your best. Achieve. Cool. Do your best, but a lot of them I think are 75% or better. And although with notes, some of those tests were kind of tricky. It's like wording, right? So the ammo test I think was probably the most difficult for me, just because of all of the resources that you had to flip through and go back and forth with. And I think so. Math is not my forte. Not my calling. It's not my ministry. You know, I'm not a math person. Math, science-y type stuff is not my flame. I don't like it that much, but you gotta do it. So it's a little bit of math. It's a little mathy, and just wasn't my favorite. So I think the ammo test was probably the most difficult, but all the other tests are pretty fair. All of them are pretty fair. If you take good notes and you understand. If you don't understand something, it's your fault if you don't get some clarification before test day. So know that. What else? Trying to figure out what was like the most fun thing that I experienced at BOLC. Other than networking and meeting people, having conversations in the field, getting to know people better, that was pretty cool. But other than that, exploring Virginia, I guess, Richmond was cool. Getting away from the ALU and BOLC right now. Just overall in Virginia, I spent a lot of time near where I lived in Chesterfield or Richmond. Richmond was kind of like that in between, like it's city enough, but it's like some things to do. It's a lot more restaurants and things to see. It was cool. If you're there and you like to go to trails and different stuff like that, it's this place called Belle Isle. It's pretty cool. So it's a lot of, they have a trail. They have like rocks that are rock formations. Is very pretty. It's a river stream going through it. Pretty wildlife out there, birds and ducks and things like this. Just scenery. Go on your little walks and your dates or whatever. If you get out, or if your spouse, whoever is there with you, if you enjoy those outdoor types of things, I think that's great. I actually did a little photo shoot there for my 30th birthday recently, so that was fun. And they have some good restaurants. I noticed a lot of the restaurants that I went to were near Virginia Commonwealth University, so the VCU. A lot of the vegan restaurants were there. New Vegan is pretty good. If you like Thai food, Catch a Thai was bomb. Catch a Thai is right outside of base, right outside the Sisaski gate. Catch a Thai is pretty good. Bangkok Thai. Those two restaurants. So Catch a Thai is in Petersburg. Like I said, right outside of the Sisaski gate at Fort Lee. And Bangkok Thai is in Chesterfield. So those are pretty good. Basil fried rice at both locations is what I always got. What else did I do? So there was a video that I was supposed to post weeks ago, I did the, it's like they gave us the opportunity to get this badge. I think it's the, I can't even think of the name of it right now. It's like you do events like you go for a swim. They do the swim test first because a lot of people fail that. I'm just going to say a certain demographic of individuals. They want to see how well you do with that before they allow you to continue on the gap B. Okay, so the gap B, I went out for that. I did a little swim test. I didn't make it. Okay, let me just say that. Now, I finished it, but I was like 40 seconds late, and it just wasn't going to happen. So it was fun. I think that's one of those things that you need to train me. I need to train for that. I got to train to swim. Like running, rucking, and doing things like that, I'm good with. But the swimming portion, nah, I need to practice. So I went out for the gap B. So the swim test is you have to swim in full uniform. So it was a regulation size pool, I guess. You gotta do 2 laps down and back, and I think it was in not 1 minute. My goodness, this is a while ago. I don't remember the time, but I didn't make the time. So what it is, though, you have to swim 2 laps down and back in a certain amount of time in full uniform. And once you finish the second lap, you have to get back and you have to take everything off without touching the wall or the floor, of course, the floor of the pool. And that was the swim test. And I think it's a silver, bronze, and a gold badge you can get. I didn't really focus on like the merit of it all. Like I didn't focus on exactly what you needed because I was trying to see if I could even pass the swim test, and it's a no. Okay, so but yeah, I would suggest for those who are high speed, you want to slap something on that ASU jacket, because I think it's like the only badge officers can wear, and it's pretty dope. It's pretty cool. A few people in my class got it, and they're pretty good. They're awesome. So you want to slap something on that jacket, you want to be all adorned and stuff like that, go for it. I say go for it. So that was a great opportunity that a few people got a chance to participate in, and that's pretty cool. So I might attach that video to this if I still have it. I don't know if I erased it or not, but I might attach it to that. Yeah, there's nothing like profound to say, guys, about BOLC. But overall, I'm having a good time still glad I joined. Yeah, looking forward to my first duty station. So I'm going to Fort Stewart. I had a pretty okay choice of options that the branch manager sent. So I had a choice between Stewart, Riley, Bragg, Alaska, Drum, Bliss, and Hood. I wanted to go to Texas, but I didn't want to go to El Paso, which is where Fort Bliss is, and I didn't want to go to Hood. So Fort Stewart was what I chose, and I hear good things about Fort Stewart, so I'm excited about it. Actually, everyone that I've spoken to has said good things about Fort Stewart, so I wanted to get out of Georgia, but Georgia won't let me be great elsewhere, so I'm gonna be great in my home state. It's all good. But yeah, so I think the only thing that's probably, I guess, it's not bad, but the only negative or like less than good thing I've heard about Fort Stewart is it's busy. But that's not necessarily a bad thing to me, so we'll see what happens. I'm open to it. And I said I want to do these things, so I'm doing it. So we'll see what happens. I don't have any expectations. I don't really know what to expect, so it's kind of like one of those things where you just go in optimistic, and that's how I am anyway. I'm an optimist, so we'll see. The ACFT, make sure y'all staying in shape. So I'm gonna say this too. So it's easier to get out of shape at BOLC because, as officers, you're expected to stay up on your PT on your own. I didn't have an issue because I enjoy working out, and I try to stay on top of it anyway because it's harder to get back in shape than it is to just stay in shape. So it's important for you guys to do that. Make sure you stay in shape. Make sure they got gym facilities on post if you don't want to pay to go to a gym. But I got a gym membership at a gym close to my apartment complex. But yeah, like all of what you need is available to you. You got, I think, maybe 2 or 3 gyms on base. I didn't go to them actually because like Chesterfield was like 18-20 minutes away, and I'm not about to drive to the gym every day, you know, after work or whatever, or stay after work. I just didn't want to do that. So in the mornings we had PT, my company did, or my class did, and you know, put forth the effort. If it's a run day, run. Whatever it is, just get something out of it. Try to get something out of it. What I found though is it is kind of difficult to like get something from the group workouts, just because everybody's just kind of ready to just get through it, but make it worth it. That's all I'm gonna say. So stay up on your PT, make sure you're eating properly, make sure you're getting this as much sleep as you can, make sure you're staying on top of your notes. Yeah, it's not really anything difficult about it. While you're there, I don't know, have fun, network. A lot of people in my class like know people, and I had like a lot of National Guard and reservists in my class, and there were some awesome connections. Like they had good jobs. We had a few law school students in my class. And just, it's important to get to know people and make those connections, because you never know, you know, what's going to happen. You never know where you're going to land after the military if you decide to get out, or if you want to stay in. You never know who you're going to run back into. So people are going to remember how you treated them also. So you may not always get along with someone, but don't speak negatively about people. Always be positive. Okay? You don't want your name to be trash. You don't want people to talk about you and say negative things about you. So it's important to make a good impression with your classmates. And yeah, so I had a pretty good group though. I enjoyed it. But yeah, overall, folks, that's about it. I got nothing else to share. Hopefully I'll come back on here with something better. And also when they ask, when they have these AARs about what you think can be improved, give something helpful, give something useful. If you really think something is not that great, speak on it. Say something about it. Bring it up. This is your platform. This is your time to do it in the AAR. And don't always complain either. AARs aren't necessarily, you know, a time for you to complain about everything bad, what you think is bad. Give some good. Like with every negative, try your best to find a positive. So we'll see. The whole military experience so far is going. Can't believe I've been in training for a whole year now. So it's really, my experience up until this point is really just is only training. So I'm ready to see what it's going to be like, see what's expected of me in my role, whatever that's going to be, and do it to the best of my ability, like I always do. So, all right, fine folks, y'all take care. I'll be talking to you soon, maybe, with some better content. So, be easy.